Well, right when this thing kicked off, I could tell you where I was March, 2020. I was on a ski lift when they shut it down, kicked us off the mountain, and told us to go stand in a closet someplace, not come out for 3 years. Okay, so I had pause. Everybody did. I mean, we didn't know this is a new thing. But you, being an expert, I'd like for you to share with the audience who you are, but also how you were censored. This was something that you experienced personally, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I was in March of 2020. You remember, COVID started magically January 1, 2020. And that's when the American healthcare system was hijacked. And clowns that were in white coats showed up and took control of the narrative of healthcare and really turned everything upside down. We were told there's no such thing as natural immunity. We were told that there's no hope, that we're helpless and hopeless. Be afraid, be very afraid. Fear was used as a weapon. And we were told to wait for a new magical vaccine to vaccinate ourselves out of a pandemic with a rapidly mutating virus, which has never happened in history. So we were told a whole lot of confusion. We were told social distancing, lockdowns, mask mandates. All of those things started in communist China by the communist Chinese, who were never the experts on healthcare. Absolutely. And so in March of 2020, 3 months later, I was working in an emergency room in Lubbock as an ER physician. I had a 48-hour shift. And during that shift, we were all watching the news every day, waiting for a White House coronavirus update. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And so that was the atmosphere. We were told there's nothing to do, but I went to work anyways, even though I knew a lot of doctors who had temporarily took down their shingles, closed their practices indefinitely, because they were told that if we get this, we could bring it home and kill our families, that it was a killer without any treatment or hope. And so I went to work, and in the ER, I'm seeing car wrecks, heart attacks, people that are shot. And I'm thinking, Lord, I know what to do. I'm a doctor, but I'm also a Christian, and Christians pray. And so I was praying in between patients, Lord, what do I do if someone comes in here with COVID? We're taking care of car wrecks, heart attacks, strokes, but Lord, they're telling us there's nothing we can do for COVID. What do I do for COVID? What if someone brings their loved ones in and their loved one is dying of COVID and says, I can't breathe, and they're counting on me to be the one that has some help for them? And so I was praying and praying. We watched the coronavirus updates that are popping up on the TV periodically. Me and the CAT scan techs and the nurses are all huddled around the TV, and then nothing's said that's useful. And so there's a break in that 48-hour shift of patients. So I go lay down in the call room to take a cat nap. And while I was asleep, a download came, an answer to prayer. Immediately I knew a treatment strategy for COVID, which 5 days later, I had my first COVID patients. They were short of breath. They had chest pain. They had asthma. They were overweight. They were on their way to the emergency room when they called me. And so that was the first time I got to use this treatment strategy of an inhaled steroid called budesonide, aspirin, and clarithromycin antibiotic. And they bounced right out of the hospital. The hospital was shocked. The doctors were shocked. The nurses were shocked. And that was the beginning of everything.